Welcome to another session with me. Today we are gonna be talking about ways to raise your motivation and your energy. Okay, I invite you to connect with the things that you would like to see in your life. Try to connect with things that you want to feel motivated with. Sometimes motivation is difficult to find, but at least you know what you want to do. But sometimes we don't even know what we want to do. So that's why we have a hard time finding motivation or getting excited because we don't have the clarity about the things that we want. So just if you would like to share in the chat before I start sharing what I think are good strategies, just share in the chat. Do you have a, a hard time getting motivation going? Do you find yourself getting motivated in specific areas but having a hard time with others? Like, what is your relationship with motivation and energy? Like, just share in the chat, what is that relationship for you right now? Do you find yourself excited sometimes during the day? Do you find yourself very motivated with specific tasks or activities that you enjoy? Just share in the chat so that I can have an idea of where you guys are at. I seem to have lot of I seem to have lost my steam and can't figure out why. Amazing. Uh, Need better daily organization to get motivated. Hard to get motivated. Um, feel overwhelmed. Sometimes depressing. I have bursts of energy, so I start but don't always finish projects. Amazing. Yes, some areas good, some bad at work. Amazing. I found new methods for my healing. Depression with disabling symptoms past 2 weeks. I am losing motivation because I am losing faith. I need to keep going. This is not like me. It depends on the day and the weather. It's raining right now, so more tired. Amazing. There is a strong relationship with the weather. Yes, I swing from full on motivation to zero motivation. Hard to find motivation even with things that used to make me happy before. Some areas are overwhelming. Right, me too. I am too overwhelmed and start but don't finish. Guys, thank you so much for sharing all these things because one of the first steps is to really accept where you are at. Okay? Sometimes it's not easy to do that. And what happens when we don't accept fully where we are at, what's happening right now? What happens when we don't do that? What happens is that our energy, our attention, our focus is going towards the things that we don't like. Okay? It's going towards the things that we don't want to see more in our lives. Okay? So accepting our reality and forgiving ourselves for what we have done until now, forgiving ourselves for anything that we feel it hasn't been correct, we haven't done it right, we shouldn't have done it, etc., etc. Sometimes it's difficult, okay? But it's necessary. So one of the first steps is to do that process, okay? We need to accept where we are at. We need to really look at our reality from a place of compassion, from a place of forgiveness, from a place of like, I don't want this in my life anymore. And every present moment is an opportunity for you to start doing something different. But finding that motivation and finding that clarity requires you to do something to find it, right? So, and that's the first step. It's asking yourself, really, what do you really want? Okay. And this is a simple question, but sometimes it's very, very difficult to find answers. Okay. But it's very important to really allow ourselves time to connect with ourselves and to really think about, what do I really want here? And if it's easier for you, you can try and divide your life in areas. Okay. Sometimes maybe you can think about your entire life and then think about main things that you want to focus on. But sometimes it's easy to maybe look at the different areas of your life that are important to you, and then start thinking about, what do I want to see here? Okay. What is something that excites me in this area of my life? What is something that I want to see more of? What is something that I want to stop doing? And what is something that I want to start doing instead? And again, this is a process. Okay. It's not going to happen overnight. But the sooner you get clear about what you want, the sooner you are going to start paying attention to that. The sooner you are going to put energy into that. And when you start taking small actions and you start seeing little results, that's going to spark a little bit of the motivation that you need. Because guys, we don't need to make a huge accomplishment to start feeling motivation, to start feeling energy rising, to start feeling excitement. We just need a tiny step. And then that tiny step is going to show you and prove to you that you can actually do this. And the more you can prove yourself that you can actually do this, and the more evidence you see outside of you that you are actually doing something about it, that's going to start fueling the fire that you need to start getting motivated, getting excited, and then taking more action. Okay? So the first step is, what do you want? What do you want? Okay? And then if you don't have an answer for this, that's fine. Start asking yourself questions. Okay? Start asking yourself questions. Like, what do I want? Uh, Maybe if you don't know what you want, maybe start by looking at, what don't you want? Okay, what are you focusing your energy now that maybe is frustrating you, that maybe is a situation that no longer serves you, maybe it's a situation that you are tired of. Maybe start there, from that place of awareness, from that place of acceptance, from that place of forgiveness, from that place of not judging, just looking at what it is. Okay, remove all the emotions, try to remove all the judgment that you may have about yourself, about other people, about this specific situation. Just look at the situation and then get clear about, this is what I don't want in my life anymore. Once you get there, then I will invite you to ask, okay, so this is what you don't want. So what do you want instead? Okay. And it's very helpful to write this down. It's very helpful to write this down and then come up with what you want. Okay. So for example, in my life right now, I don't want to feel frustrated when my daughter makes a mess on the table. This is something that has been triggering me over and over, and it's such a silly thing for some, but to me, it triggers me. And then when that happens, I lose patience, I stop being loving, and I just get frustrated. So that's what I don't want. So now that I know that, I think, what do I want? And then I start thinking, I want to be a loving dad, doesn't matter what. I want to be a supportive dad that can teach her daughter how to eat, and it's okay with a little bit of mess because she's only 3 years old. Okay? I choose to be a role model for her in a loving way. That's what I choose. Guys, when I choose that, I start connecting with that Emilio, and I start visualizing my daughter eating. I see myself beside her, and then I choose to be that Emilio rather than the frustrated Emilio. Okay? When I can visualize and connect with that new reality, that's giving me excitement. I feel excited to be a loving dad. I feel excited to stop feeling frustrated for that silly thing, because that's cleanable. A mess is cleanable. And there is pasting there for me, okay? I need to dig deeper. It's like, okay, when I was raised, Maybe I had a lot of rules on the table. Maybe I was raised by you cannot do this, you can do that, get closer to the table, put your like arms closer, don't spill food. So I was raised maybe with too many rules, and I don't want to have so many for her. So that's just one example of looking at a situation, accepting myself, forgiving myself, brainstorming new ideas, connecting with that new possibility. And from that place, I need to bring presence. And this is the second step. So the first step is, what do you want? And really connect with that. Ask questions, get clear. Some other questions that you can ask to really find out what you want is like, what do you want? What are the benefits of this thing that you want? Okay? Why do you want that? And then ask why a few times. Why do you want to do that thing? Because X, Y, and Z. And then why do you want X, Y, and Z? Because if I do this, this is going to happen. And why do you want that to happen? So when you start asking yourself these why questions, you are going to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the true essence of what you really want. Because sometimes what you want is the surface, but then when you start diving deeper, you will get to the root of the, wow, I want to do this because I really want to be this. And when you get to that awareness and that excitement, that's going to be eye-opening for you. And that's going to be inspiring. That's going to be exciting for you. And you are more likely going to start taking action, okay? So once you get to that clarity of what you want and what you don't want, you start paying attention to what you want. And you start thinking, how can I make this new possibility a reality for me? Okay? Then the second step is to bring presence to this thing or these things. You need to bring presence. Okay? What does that mean? You need to start bringing your attention, your energy, your focus to that specific thing that you want to make a reality. Okay? How do you do that? But first thing, you need to remind yourself of what you want. This is the number one thing. If you don't have a system, a process, something that you can reflect on and you can remind yourself of what you want, life is going to get on the way. The busyness of life and all the things, all the distractions, all the commitments, all the obligations are going to kick in and you are going to forget. How many people know what I'm talking about? You have a great awareness moment with yourself after a meditation, a walk, you get inspired and excited about an idea, and then you really want to take action on it. And then 3 days later, you realize, hey, wait a second, I had that great idea and I totally forgot about it. How many people have had that happen? It happens to me a lot. So that's why you need to have a process, a system, something to capture those things so that you can remind yourself of the things that are important to you. Okay? How can you do that? I share lots of strategies in past calls. You can do a brain dump. You can do a mind map. You can do a vision board. You can do a life vision drawing, bullet points. You can do a creation where you write the areas of your life that are important to you, and then underneath you write the things that you want to start working on or making happen. Okay, that's how you can look at that, and then you can remind yourself, oh yeah, I wanted to do that thing because it was important to me and I totally forgot. So bringing presence is going to allow you to start carving time for those things and hopefully start saying no to other things that are no longer as important to you. Okay? So step number one, getting clear about what you want. Okay? And always from that place of awareness, compassion, forgiveness, and empathy, no judgmental. Okay? Always from that place. Then get clear on what you want and get clear on what you don't want. If that's easier for you, think about the things that you don't want and then create the opposite. Okay, I don't want this, so what do I want instead? And then once you have that, start focusing on that. Once you have that, you are going to bring presence to these things by reminding yourself, by reflecting about it, writing them down, making a drawing and putting it in a place that you will see it every day, setting reminders in your calendar, writing it in your agenda, calling a friend and letting him or her know, please check in me about this. Whatever strategy you want to use, there is not a right or wrong approach here. As long as you remind yourself every day of these things, that's how you are going to start bringing presence, attention, energy into these new things that you want to make a reality. Okay? When you are starting to do this and connecting, visualizing that new outcome, that's when you are going to start feeling the way you will feel when that happens. And when you can connect with that, it's going to be so exciting. It's going to be so like meaningful to you that you are going to start getting excited and motivated. And you are actually connecting emotionally with that new reality. In my case, I feel so excited when I visualize myself on the table, not getting frustrated with my daughter, being a loving dad, having fun and being playful, even if she makes a mess, and teaching her how to clean it up in a playful way. That really makes me feel very excited. The other Emilio doesn't. So that's why I connect with what I want. And then I seek for strategies. And that will be the step number 3. Okay? Taking intentional and flexible action. Okay? Taking intentional and flexible action. Before I dive into this step, let me read some comments here. Write down 3 things to focus on for the next day. Great strategy. Question, Emilio, how do acceptance and the law of manifestation coexist? Not focus on the illness while accepting my reality in the moment. Please help. Yeah, so great question, Amy. And again, guys, we have been doing whatever we have been doing for how long? The things that we want to change, we want to bring inspiration, motivation in our lives. This is something new. This is a change that we want to make. But just think about it. How long have we been operating in a different way and creating results or creating outcomes that we don't like or that no longer serve us? How many times you realize my life has changed, my interests have changed, and I want to become someone different, but I'm stuck in the old person that I used to be because that's the familiarity for me. That's what I used to do, but now I don't want that anymore. So changing that, it takes time. It takes presence. It takes a lot of presence. So when you accept what is and you stop giving it attention, you stop giving it your energy, you stop feeling frustrated about it, and then you place all your energy as much as you can, all your intention, appreciation, gratefulness into what you really want, and that's what the new reality looks like to you. I'm not saying forget and ignore everything else, but why are you giving it so much attention if you don't want that in your life anymore? So why don't you focus on the other one? And then what is, it is. And you have to accept it with love, with gratefulness, with compassion, and be okay with it. And once you are there, you stop giving it your attention, your energy, because when you are frustrated, when you are feeling guilty, when you are feeling anger, when you are feeling charged emotionally with a person because they did something to you or they said something to you, you are losing your power. You are no longer using the energy for the things that you want. You are giving your energy away. And you cannot control those things anyways. What happened in the past, you cannot change that. What a person said, you cannot change that. If a person is mean to you, you cannot change that person. Okay? The only thing that you can change is how you react to those things, the healthy boundaries that you set, how you show up next time that happens. That's the only thing that you can change. And the meaning that you place on those things. Okay? The meaning that you place on the experience, what happened. If you stop giving it meaning, if you stop giving it energy, if you stop thinking about it altogether and you focus majority of your energy into what you really want, how likely are you to make those things happen? How likely are you to attract those things into your life? And guys, I have talked about the law of attraction and the law of manifestation and the principles of it. There are 3 3 or even 4 sessions that I did that you can find in the recordings if you are interested. And I talk about energy, I talk about your attention, I talk about how it works, and the importance of feeling and connecting with that feeling. So you can listen to those things, but acceptance, forgiveness is one of the first things that you need to do. Because if you don't, you can be all day saying affirmations, trying to do whatever you are trying to do. But if you have negative self-talk, if anytime a person comes into your sphere, you get charged, if you are always thinking about what happened and you are frustrated about it, where is your energy going? Where is your self-talk going to? To what you want or to what you don't want? To the things that you want to create or to the things that you no longer want in your life? So just think about it. That's why it's important to bring presence. That's why it's important to remind yourself, to reflect, to have a way for you to reflect, because we forget. Guys, sometimes I want to do something in my day. I sit on the table and I'm thinking, Emilio, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do now. I am so I just came from dropping my daughter and she had her morning, or maybe I had to do this thing and then I saw this person and I had these 3 things to do. What were my priorities? I forgot. So that's why I come to my journal and I say, okay, Emilio, just take a minute, okay? Just look at your brain dump. Okay, let's look at it. What did you want to do? Oh, I see. I wanted to work on my academy. Yeah, with my wife, I really wanted to do acro yoga. Oh yeah, with Eva, I need to research the science experiments I wanted to research so that we can do something fun together. With myself, yeah, I really want to organize that trip with my friend that is so important. And I want to keep meditating every day because these are the benefits that I told myself, and I want that in my life. So that's my tool right now to remember what was important for me, having this brain dump that became a mind map after of things that I want to do in the specific areas that are important to me. Maybe you create a vision board, okay? That's a vision board where you are placing things that are important to you. Maybe you create a life vision, okay? And maybe you just draw what you want your life to look like. Or maybe you start creating bullet points of the things that you want. It doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you can go back to it and reflect about it and remind yourself about it. Because if you don't do it, chances are that you are going to forget. Chances are that you are not going to take action on those things because other things are going to be more a priority, deadlines, and then you will just get lost. And then you won't feel excited, you won't feel motivated, and you will feel that like the days are passing by and you are not doing what you want to be doing. So that's why it's so important to bring presence and then take intentional and flexible action. Okay? So it's important on step number 3, taking action that is intentional and flexible. It's very important to don't have specific expectations. Okay? You need to really let go of the outcome and how things are going to unfold. Because honestly, you cannot control how they are going to happen. And if you have heard of the law of attraction and how things unfold, and sometimes it's nice to be flexible. It's nice to just say, I really want this in my life. I have no idea how it's going to happen, and I am okay with it. The only thing that I know is that anytime I see a sign, anytime I see an action, anytime I see something that relates to what I want, I am going to say yes to it. I am going to go down that road and explore it. I am going to be curious about it. I am going to listen to my intuition. I am going to seek synchronicities or coincidences or however you want to call them. And when you start seeing them, you are not going to ignore them. You're going to say, that's interesting. I want this in my life. And then this thing is showing up right now. Let's explore it. It may be fun. Guys, many things in my life that have been wonderful happened that way. I really got clear on what I wanted. I put it out into the universe. I remind myself every day why I wanted it, the benefits of it. I got excited. I really visualized myself doing that or having that or experiencing that. And then I was open. What's going on? Hey, that seems like a sign that can get me closer to where I want to go. I'm going to explore it. And with that playfulness, that flexibility, I end up where I wanted to be. It's like, wow, this is magical. How did I end up here? How did this happen? So guys, be flexible. Be open your eyes. Start seeing what's around you. And keep in mind your vision. Keep in mind what you want. And always ask, is this gonna help me get closer to what I want? If it's a yes, explore it. If it's a no, or you don't want it in your life, just say no to it. Allow yourself to say no. No, I don't want this in my life. It's fine. I'm gonna keep going with other things. But you always have to, don't have expectations, don't micromanage things, because that's a recipe for what happens when you have high expectations and you try to control an outcome that is not on your hands. What happens? Tell me in the chat, what happens when you try to control an outcome, control a person, control something that you want it to happen such a specific way that is your way, but then it's not happening that way. It fails. You feel disappointed. How does that affect your mood? Full of failure. You feel like you are failing. You are feeling helpless. Yeah, exactly. You are feeling all those things. It's exhausting too. Of course it's exhausting. You are trying to change something that you cannot change. You are trying to control something that is uncontrollable. Okay? That's why it's so important to get clear. It's an energy waste. Yeah, get clear on what you want. And this is like, I use this metaphor so many times, okay? You are on a sailing boat and then you are aiming for a specific island, okay? There is a straight line to that specific island. That's what your mind says. Yeah, let's do a specific straight line to get to the island that I want to go to. That's your destination, right? That's your outcome. But what happens if a storm happens? What happens if there are rocks on the way? Or what happens if you see something nice on the other side that you want to stop by and then keep going? So what happens with all these variables that you cannot control? You have to be flexible. And then it's not about the outcome only. The journey is also beautiful. The journey is also an adventure on its own. And if you are able to be flexible, to really let things unfold and don't be so rigid about how things have to be, that's a recipe for you to start enjoying life more, start being more motivated, more excited, and always keeping in mind what you want. But there are 1,000 ways of getting to the same spot. You don't have to choose a specific one. It can happen in many different ways. That's what I'm trying to say. So allow that magic to happen in your life. Allow that mystery to be in your life and start moving forward with the next action that you see. Even if you don't know what's gonna come next, but just take the next step. And this brings me to the next one. Okay? Let go of perfectionism. I am guilty of perfectionism. So many times I try to have a specific outcome and then I have a vision and I want it to happen a specific way, and it's like, okay, Emilio, you're getting lost here in the details, and you don't have to do that. So many times I find myself going there and then I start feeling tense. I start feeling like, oh no, that's supposed to be that way. What's happening here? I cannot control this. Oh no, this is not. And then I start going down that road. It's like, okay, I need to breathe. I need to remind myself, what is my outcome? Okay, that's what I want in my life. Okay, that's fine, but it doesn't have to happen this specific way. Okay? It can happen in many different ways. And we don't need to have all the answers. And we don't have to be perfect. We just have to get started. We just have to take the next step that is available to us. And let me tell you, when you take the next step that seems available to you and that feels good, what's going to happen after? What happens when you take one step towards a direction that you feel inspired? What happens when you take one step? Just share in the chat. What do you think happens when you start taking action and you take the next possible step that it's available to you right now? Momentum. Yeah, you start getting momentum. You start getting inspired. Okay? What else happens? Would you say that you start feeling more confident because you have accomplished something? The scary part is slipping into dark waters and trusting. Yeah, Cindy, of course. You are a step closer to your goal. You feel great. You have a vision. Yeah, amazing. So I would like to bring back what Cindy shared. The scary part is leaping into dark waters and trusting. Let's dive into this for a little bit, okay? Why is it scary to leap into a dark waters and trusting? So I would like you to ask, I would like you to question one thing. If what you are doing right now is not inspiring you, if what you are doing right now is not what you want, if you are not feeling great, if you want to change, do you think that change is going to come from a place of familiarity? Do you think that change is going to come from the behaviors, actions, routines that you have been doing until now? Just answer in the chat. Do you think you can create a new life, a new person doing what you know how to do? No, no, no. Okay, so then what's an option? So if we know that what we have right now, what we are doing, the outcomes that we have, if we know that we don't want that in our lives anymore, okay, we want something new, how are we going to make that happen? You need to take a leap. You need to surrender. Yeah, you need to surrender to say, what I am doing right now is just not working for me anymore. And you have to get clear and accept that. And just remove all the negative emotions, negative self-talk. You are not failing. You are not miserable. You are not a bad person. You just need to change. You just want to do something different. What you have done until now, it no longer serves you. Your life is evolving into a different way. And you deserve to evolve and you deserve to create something different. But how can you create something different with the same mentality, with the same mindset, with the same actions? You can't. So you have to do something different. You have to create something different. And that's when it gets scary. And that's when the brain starts telling us, hey, red light, red light. We are about to do something that is unknown. I don't know what's going to happen. It can be really bad. And we always tend to get ready for the worst case scenario. Hey, that's me, guys. Every time my wife brings an idea, guess what I do? I start analyzing what can go wrong. And I find myself like, wow, Emilio, there you are again. Looking at everything that can go wrong and getting ready for the worst case scenario. But what happens with everything that can go good? Everything that can change my life for the better. So that's why sometimes it's a balance, right? And we all have a different balance. We all have different comfort levels. But the secret here is to get out of our comfort zone enough to challenge us, but not too much to enter the anxiety and the overwhelmed state that we then get frozen. We need to find our edge. Okay? We need to start doing something different. We start taking leaps. Start taking leaps into something that we understand, something that is challenging us in a good way, but not too much that we will froze. Okay? And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and this is a great example. They did an experiment with people who were afraid of spiders. They couldn't go to a forest and walk because they were afraid that spiders would be there. Okay? So that's how severe it was. They were so afraid of spiders that they couldn't even go into a forest. So they started to take micro steps. First step, look at a picture of a spider. Okay? Look at a photo of a spider. Second step, look at a video of a spider. Third step, look at a spider from a distance. Fourth step, get a bit closer to the spider from a distance, okay? In a controlled and safe environment. Next step, touch the spider with a stick from the distance. Next step, so you see, you are challenging yourself, taking steps closer to the outcome that people say, I don't want to be afraid of spiders anymore. But right now I have anxiety about them. So they started to do this and this and this, and then by them exposing themselves slowly in steps that were challenging but not overwhelming, they ended up holding a spider on their hands. How cool is that, guys? To go from being afraid of going into a forest because there may be spiders in there to hold a spider on your hand. How cool is that? How much change is that? And that huge change took micro changes. And this is what I want you to think about. Yeah, exposure therapy. It's beautiful. When you are overwhelmed about something, when you are fearful about something, and you need to start doing something different, expose yourself in ways that feel good to you. Challenge yourself to get out of the comfort zone in a way that feels good to you, in a way that is like scary and exciting at the same time. Okay, if you find that it's scary and you block and it's too much anxiety, take it a little bit less, but still force yourself a little bit. And this can be applied to anything in life. When you want to change, you do the same thing. If you want to exercise, you will do the same thing. You won't aim for a 60-minute session. Aim for a 1-minute session. Aim for 2 push-ups. Aim for 1 minute of running. So get yourself to start winning. Get yourself to actually start and show yourself that you can actually do this. Because increasing the time, how easy it is to increase the time when you are already doing it, guys? If you want to meditate for an hour, how likely are you to sit down every day to do that? Most likely, very unlikely. What happens if you sit down to meditate for 1 minute, for 30 seconds? How doable is that? And what happens when you do that for 2 weeks? Will you say that you are forming a new habit? Will you say that it will be automatic for your brain to do that? Will you say that your brain will now know that that's safe? And then you can prolong the session, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, however long you want to go. But now you won't face as much resistance anymore because you have been doing it. You have conditioned your mind and your body to try this new thing. Okay? So let's unwrap this session before we go, okay? So step number 1 is to really get clear on what you want. What do you want more of in your life? And then you will start connecting with those new possibilities in a way that you feel excited. You visualize yourself doing that thing, experiencing that, and that makes you feel like, wow, that feels good. Okay? So what you want, gain clarity about that. Step 2, bring presence to these things. Remind yourself every day. Reflect about what you are doing, things you need to tweak. Okay? Always from a place of awareness, non-judgmental, curiosity, acceptance, forgiveness. You have to stop giving your energy away to the past, to situations that happen, to triggers that you may have. Start working through them, okay, in a way that feels good to you. And then the third step is to take intentional and flexible action. Once you know what you want, the outcome, start taking the next step that feels accessible to you right now. Get yourself out of your comfort zone enough to challenge you, but not too much that you will be overwhelmed and you will freeze. Always let go of the expectations. Let go of specific ways of getting there and be flexible. Okay? Always be flexible. New opportunities, new ideas may show up along the way, and you need to be flexible enough to adjust, to look at them, to pay attention to them, to explore them, and start trusting your intuition. Start trusting synchronicities, signs, coincidences, however you want to call them. Start trusting them more and explore them. Give them a chance. Okay? You can always let them go if they don't work for you, but at least you allow yourself to explore them, to see them. And then if you do this recipe, I hope that you can then find more motivation. You can keep your energy high because you are connecting with something bigger than you, something that is exciting, something that is going to benefit you and others, a new reality that is going to be uplifting and meaningful and fulfilling to you. That's going to then start the fire in you. How can I make this happen? I want more of that. I took this step and I did it, and now this step is showing up for me. I'm going to take it. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to be flexible. I'm going to be grateful for every step, celebrate every step, and I don't have any expectations on how it needs to happen. Okay? This is the recipe that I really wanted to share with you today, guys. I hope that you got something from today that you can actually start integrating right now in your life, something that is helpful, doable, practical, playful, is inspiring, and actually I want you to start doing something, whatever the step is for you, because I know that you are all on different paces, different journeys, different kinds of awareness, different kinds of outcomes, but I'm sure you got something. What is your next step that you guys are gonna take? I would like to read in the chat before we go. What are you going to do next? What do you feel inspired? What is accessible for you next to do to get closer to? Thanks for the recipe. I'm gonna start cooking. Thank you for all you share. So grateful. Get clear on what I really want. Get clear on what you really want. Beautiful, Melissa. How are you gonna make that happen? What is the next step for you to get clear? Bernie says, finally create my vision board. Amazing. Amy shared the steps. Thank you so much, Amy, for sharing the steps. I'm sure that they are beautiful and accurate. Get clarity on what I want, presence, awareness, self-reflection. Yeah. And then take the next step, flexible action. Yeah, beautiful, Amy. That's beautiful. I love that. You can share that in the circle if you want, and then people can read it. I'm going to do a brain dump. Amazing. My one was listening, learning from you. Thank you, Pauline. For those of you who have further questions on strategies to make this happen, guys, I have so many recordings. I record these things, these sessions, because I want you to have access to them when you need them. And I know that sometimes live sessions happen live, but sometimes you are not ready to receive. Sometimes you are focusing on different things in life. And I find it very, very helpful to be able to go back to an idea when I am ready for it. That's why I take the extra time to record, to edit, and to publish these sessions for you guys. I take time off my day to do that because I know it's helpful. And I know that you guys can listen to these things when you are ready at your own pace, anytime, from anywhere you are. And that's why I feel that this is so important. Mapping out from my intentions, creating an ideal week. Yeah, guys, again, you can create an ideal week when you are ready. The first thing that needs to happen, you need to have the clarity. You need to really integrate those things in your week in a way that feels good to you. How do I access the circle? Bernie, the circle is called Your Thriving Lifestyle. You can find it if you go to my profile and you click on About, you will find the circle link in there. Okay? Amazing. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, guys. Let's exit this session with a couple of deep breaths. Okay? Just allow yourself to close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths. Just breathe. And just allow silence to be there. Just know that you are enough, guys. You are all doing your best. You are all doing the best you can right now. You all deserve change. You all deserve inspiration and motivation. We all can have access to those things anytime we really want. We just have to connect with them. And it is your job to connect with them. If you don't do it, no one else is gonna do it for you. So make sure that you honor yourself, by giving yourself some time to think about these ideas, integrate these 3 steps in a way that feels good and uplifting to you, and just get started. Just get started. Okay? I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I will see you next week on Tuesday. I don't know the topic of the session yet, but I will come up with something. If you have ideas, you can share them in the chat now. And my new course about executive functioning skills, it's going to be live. Inside Timer told me around 4 weeks because they have a lot of courses to go through. So hopefully in 4 weeks it will be live. I am really excited about that course. I know it's going to help you. It really helped me a lot to bring awareness to these executive functioning skills and how they tie into organization, into minimalism, into intentional living, into ADD, ADHD, procrastination, time management. It's just beautiful concept of beautiful way of analyzing how we function and really breaking it down into very practical and doable steps that we can understand. And it's going to allow us to solve a problem solve in a different way. I now view things in a very different way after researching about all these skills, and it's giving me so many tools to help myself and to help others, like overcome challenges when they are facing procrastination, clutter, time management. So many issues are tied with how we function, how our executive functioning skills work. So I am so happy that that will be available to you soon. And then I am planning, I have so many sessions about that topic, but I want the course to be there available so that I can always send you guys there in the meantime between sessions. For now, if you want more this weekend, make sure that you check my 3 courses. I have 3 courses available here on Inside Timer, also on my website. So make sure that you check the courses, enroll in them, and use the course classroom as much as you need, because you have lifetime access to that, and I will be there answering and making an audio, so to support you, to answer questions, and to just be present with you. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Imago, with you and Samantha modeling. I'll talk with Samantha and see if she wants to do that. What is my website? KW Professional Organizers. Okay. Joe Dispenza's work. Oh, Amy, that's interesting. And I've been very inspired by Joe Dispenza's work. And I am planning on attending a retreat that he's doing in September. So I can share some of that for sure. I've been very inspired, and I've been meditating every day. And yeah, I can do some of that. I think that feels good to me. Yeah. My website, guys, is KW Professional Organizers. Okay. You can find the link on my profile, on Inside Timer profile. Just go to the link and then you will find it there. Okay. Okay, guys, have an amazing rest of your day, an amazing weekend, and I will see you next week. And I hope to see you inside the course. Okay. Bye.